Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Geeking Out podcast. I am the Athletic Geek, and this week doing something a little bit different, but something I'd like to do in the future. First of all, my guests this week are my normal Just Us Marks co-host CJ from Team All Zero,
Yep.
and coming back is another friend of our show, Caleb from the Four Sides podcast. So glad to have
Good to
him
be back.
back. Oh. Um, so basically, this is kind of an idea of something I've wanted to try in the future. Is kind of I know we've done watch-alongs in the past, and those are still going to stick around. Don't worry about that. But for some of these shows that we've gone to, rather than just do a watch-along, maybe we could talk about our experiences at the show or at the event. You know, kind of similar to what I originally did with the All In series here on this podcast, and probably since All In, the biggest wrestling event I've been to has been this past year's Royal Rumble in our home area of St. Louis, Missouri. And rather than just kind of give a Cliff Notes version on the live stream, I thought, there was enough that went on that day that we could make our own episode of the podcast about it. So we're gonna try this. Uh, However, on the flip side of all of this, it really wasn't CJ and I who had the more fulfilling day, if you will, going to this show. It was actually Caleb who got to take part in some events and got to do some really cool stuff earlier in the day. And Caleb, would you like to talk about that?
Absolutely, man. So, funny story. I actually woke up late that day, so that was a great start. The original plan was to wake up at about 5:30 or 6, so we can make it up there about 8 o'clock. Because I guess it's a little suburb in St. Louis called St. Anne. There was a Cricket Wireless there, and they were doing a meet and greet with the Miz. So I wanted to try to get there early because, with the Cricket Wireless meet and greets, they have the cutoffs and everything, and the lines are freaking long. So, yeah, we still made it up there around, I'd like to say 10 o'clock. We went through the line. It was long, but it was a pretty fulfilling experience. We got inside the store at like 10:53. We met the Miz. Didn't really get to say a whole lot to him because, just kind of a time thing with a lot of people in line and stuff. But Miz seemed like a pretty awesome guy,
Now,
so it was awesome.
I haven't done one of those WWE sponsored meet and greets since 2007 when I went to a CM Punk WWE sponsored meet and greet. Um, has that changed anymore? Like, what exactly is it? Just you get in line and cross your fingers, or do they do wristbands? How does that work for anybody who listens to this who might be gonna go to one? A
So how this one was, it was strictly 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and it was a first come first serve. There were even signs like whenever you would like line up on the sidewalk that says there was like a point where like if you are at this spot in the line, you are not guaranteed to make the cut, so to say. So they cut that off specific, like strictly at 11 o'clock. Miz is out of the building, so we got in there at 10:53. So we were very very close. But
uh,
no, they don't do like wristbands or anything. It's basically just a first come first serve thing. If anybody's listening to this and they want to maybe go to a Cricket Wireless meet and greet, my advice to you would be to show up probably at least like a half an hour before the actual meet and greet starts, just so you can get a good place in line and stuff.
okay. So after you did that and you met the Miz and you said Miz was a nice guy.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, just because the line was long, there were a lot of people. Like we didn't get to like talk a whole lot or anything.
Right.
It was just pretty much like signature picture. hey, I'm a big fan, been a big fan for years. He says thank you, and that's it. But that's kind of
There's
that's a meet and greet. It was a free meet and greet.
hey, at least he spoke to you.
Yeah, yeah, more than
And
I can say for others.
yes, and for some people
Exactly.
listening to this, if you know, you know.
Oh yeah, and we'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. But you also did something that, in I've never done this. I've never done it exactly like you have. But in all my years of going to wrestling shows, I've never gone to the arena before to see if anybody would sign. And you and your friend actually got to do this, and you actually had some good interactions. If you'd like to talk about those.
Oh, for sure. First of all, I mean, I'd like to say like for those that like go to airports and stuff like that, that's not great. But I mean,
I feel like
I
going to the arena is one thing, going to the airport or the hotel is another. That's just my
right,
opinion.
right, pretty much. But and they know people are going to show up at the arena early, so they have like a gated off area where you can like stand behind the gate and stuff. And it's like if the wrestlers are walking in and they want to interact with you, they will. If they don't, they won't. I mean, it is what it is. So there were a lot of people that stopped before we got there because, of course, we did the Miz meet and greet. So I heard some people saying that Matt Riddle stopped and took pictures and signed with people. Um, who else? Who else? I think Lita did too. Like I
Oh,
think
that's
Lita was
cool.
just doing. I seen some people got a picture with Lita. When I was there, Zelina Vega stopped and talked to us. She was pretty nice. And one person that I really, really didn't expect, it came out of nowhere. Bobby Lashley stopped and took pictures with people.
That's cool. How was Bobby? I've never met Bobby before.
Oh, Bobby's cool. It was funny because like he was kind of trying to just get the stuff done and get in the building and do his job and stuff. So like he would just kind of put his face in front of the camera for like a second or two, and then he would go to the next. And as I was taking my picture, like right whenever I hit my take picture button, like not even half a second later, he went over to the camera and then he went over to the other person's camera and then he went back and he was like, "That was close, buddy." I was like, "Yeah." But yeah, Bobby's cool.
Okay. Um. So I know nobody will care about this one, but I know Caleb and all of us, we all ate at the Pasta House. So if you're ever in St. Louis, go to the Pasta House because it's really good.
Absolutely.
That's just my shill for the Pasta House because I feel like that they need they need to more people need to be aware of how good this place is.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, so what time? Like I know we both left kind of after the Pasta House. What was your experience like waiting outside? I know for us, we trying to park and all that stuff. I know we had to like just find a garage and then we had to just kind of circle around and we just happened to get into line and make our way in. But no harm, no foul. Did you have any better luck than we did?
So actually, we had to like drive around and find like a garage to like there was parking like right outside the arena, but it was $30. So forget that.
Right.
So we parked in one of the garages, and actually, I don't remember like the entrance layers and stuff, but they had like a one entrance. They had like a Cricket wireless trailer sort of walk through, and they had like some really cool memorabilia. I still haven't posted the pictures that I took from it on my Facebook, but they had like Mankind's 1997 Royal Rumble attire on display, and they had like a bunch of cool. They had like the Royal Rumble ball spinner thing, whatever that's called. Just
Okay.
a little bit of like a mini museum for people to look at before they went in.
That's pretty
So
cool.
that was cool. And then actually getting in on that side wasn't too terrible because I think everyone was just focused on the other ones for some reason, but we got lucky.
I'm gonna let CJ, talk about what she felt our experience was trying to get into the building.
I guess it wasn't the worst getting into a major building like that has ever been for me, but we went through, I guess it was kind of the main entrance, and we walked a couple blocks, and then we had to walk basically another block to the end of the line from the door. So we basically wrapped around the building. But we kept moving, so it wasn't too bad. And luckily, even though it was January, it wasn't so cold because we were definitely walking or standing outside for a good 30 to 45 minutes. But I mean, we found some people who were fun to talk to. An indie wrestler was right behind us, so we talked to them a little bit. We people watched. I people watch all the
Mm-hmm.
time. So being right there where everybody was coming in, that was an entertaining enough thing for me, and we were fairly close. It turns out to like where our side was. We're
Yeah.
not we don't have buku bucks. And the Pasta House hasn't agreed to sponsor the podcast yet.
Yeah.
So
No.
so we were up a couple stories. So but
Good
we were
view of
right
the
next
ring,
to.
though. I also
Yeah.
the cool part about waiting in line is the indie wrestler we were talking to. Like we were just kind of like just talking wrestling, and he basically small tangent, but it relates. We here on the internet, and it's kind of apropos now from when we've recorded this, and there's people re-signing with companies and big names leaving companies to potentially pursue more money and potentially wrestle in companies that well, as it's going to go on say, we're going to go on to talk about maybe doesn't always put on the most enjoyable product. But when you listen to an actual independent wrestler talk about, like, yeah, what, would Vince want me on? What does Vince want me to do? Be gobbledygooker? Okay, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, that's a foot in the door. That is my career. Yeah, when you actually hear from a wrestler who's trying to make their way up in the wrestling business, what's Vince want? Gladly. What would Tony want? Gladly. What's going to further my career? Okay. What's going to get me paid? Okay. It brings home a lot of things that we've been talking about online recently, that at the end of the day, yes, wrestling is a passion, and yes, hopefully at the end of the day, everybody wants to be able to do what they love and be, do what they love, how they love to do it, and get paid well for it. But you know, um, sometimes you just got to get paid, and sometimes you may not get to have your legendary match or get to play the character you want, and you just want to get your foot in the door. And it was just, it just kind of, it put more perspective on how an actual wrestler may feel, despite the fan base maybe not always getting to see that, if that makes sense. Uh, so, um, now it's time to get to the part that I was hoping would be more fun, but unfortunately, it wasn't, and that is the show itself. Um, and yeah, so there were 6 matches on this show. Um, no singles match went beyond 15 minutes on this show. None. Nary a one. Um, so we'll just start from the top, and we'll give our general thoughts on everything that happened on this show. I know we're a little late for this. There's already been another WWE pay per view, but hey, whatever. The first match, Seth freaking Rollins, and yes, you have to add the freaking now. That's his full name. Um, defeated Roman Reigns by disqualification. Uh, how did we'll send this around the horn first. What did you guys think of this match?
Honestly, I thought it was a lot better. Like at first, I wasn't really invested in the match as it was building up because it's just a match we've seen so many times, and then as I was watching it, it was just some of the key points of the storytelling where of their past matches. Like for example, Roman going for the spear and Seth hitting the pedigree, and then Roman kicking out of that. Like that was a callback to their Money in the Bank encounter. So I mean, I appreciated the match a little more than I would have just for things like that. And then Seth, of course, coming out with the Shield attire to kind of play mind games with Roman Reigns. Like I said, I wasn't really invested in it at first, but just one of those matches that I kind of set my expectations a little low, and they were a little. And the match was, like I said, better than I thought it would be. I'm not saying it was like the greatest match ever or anything. It served
Right.
its purpose. Um, I think the DQ finish was really good with like I don't know, keeping the title on Roman, but at the same time protecting Seth, if that makes sense.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. All right, CJ, what did you think of this match?
I liked this match probably the most out of the whole card. And I didn't have high expectations for it either because we're so close to WrestleMania, and I didn't foresee them taking the belt off of Roman this close. But I went in super low expectations, and Seth coming out to the Shield music and in all the old Shield gear kind of popped me. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed their match. It's not like the 5-star classic. It's not going to be probably on any year-end awards for me, but for what I expected, it was. It was a good match. They did some storytelling. The DQ finish at the time I thought was good because I felt like it protected Seth, and maybe we would see him come back in maybe for a 3-way at WrestleMania or something else, since we've had another WWE pay-per-view where he was cannon fodder for Brock Lesnar. I think less of that now. But that everybody is that. So we'll see what they can take with Seth there. But as it goes for this night, I didn't have a huge problem with it, and I enjoyed the match.
Yeah, I liked the match. I like, I kind of echoed the same sentiments as you. This was, to me, without question, the best match on the card. I never actually got to experience any sort of Shield entrance, so seeing this was cool. Um, the match itself was really good. I understand the DQ finish, but to me, I guess I just rather if you're not gonna. I don't understand why you need to. I don't understand why you need to protect Seth if the end game for WrestleMania isn't him being in a title match. I don't. I guess I'm so used to New Japan and AEW where, more often than not, somebody's going to win a match and somebody's going to lose it. And, you if you're gonna if you're gonna build up to somebody in New Japan, if Ibushi or Okada or whoever is gonna win the G1 climax, then unfortunately that it might mean you have to put them over Naito, or you might have to put them over Tanahashi in the G1, and that's just kind of somebody has to win a match and somebody has to lose it in order to get to your end game. And I guess I would just have rather Roman have won, just straight up won. There could have been some shenanigans. WWE, I'm more okay with the shenanigans than in the aforementioned other promotions. But I'd just rather Roman have just won the damn match. And had they just let Roman win the match, I'd look at it a little bit more fondly and be like, oh, hey, Roman won the match. Cool. All right, cool.
You can still build a storyline with Seth later, even if Roman pinned him. Like,
yeah,
Roman could use the clean win more than Brock could use a clean win, in my opinion. So,
right.
But it's fine. It's fine. This is fine.
So probably you're gonna notice a recurring theme with a couple things here. This was a good match until the finish. That's just about like how I like wow, Seth and Roman were tearing up, and if they would have let them just keep going at that pace, I don't want to overrate it and go like this could have had they had the clean finish with Roman winning, this could have been one of my top 10 matches of the year, but it definitely would have given it a more of a fighting chance than it did putting a DQ out there. You know, just let Seth lose. Just let Seth lose. Sometimes you gotta to make an omelet, you gotta make a few eggs. And while I am not particularly a fan of where it seemed, well, I'm using seems somewhat loosely. It's pretty well set in stone. They're going for to WrestleMania this year. I, hey, to get there, it'd be better to get there with Roman looking like a badass than having to win by nefarious means. That's just my opinion. Next match is the first of the two Royal Rumble matches. It is the women's Royal Rumble match. And it was, we'll send this one around the horn first. What did you guys think? How'd you guys enjoy the Royal Rumble match? The women's one first.
Well, for me, I'll just go ahead and put it out there. Mickie James was awesome.
Yes.
Like her coming out with the Impact the Knockouts Championship, not the Women's Championship, the Knockouts Championship. See what I did there?
I do.
So for those of you that don't know, I have YouTube videos where it's pretty much all the Royal Rumble entrances from where I was sitting, and in my opinion, I had the best seat in the house for like not being close up with the wrestlers and stuff. So go on YouTube and type in Royal Rumble 2022 entrances, and you'll probably find it under one of my personal YouTube pages.
I'll try and get a link to that to put in the description box.
Okay, cool. But anywho, yeah, I mean, it was kind of. I'll be honest, both of the Royal Rumble matches were kind of average, or maybe even. Well, the men's certainly wasn't average; it was below average. But this one was. We'll get to that later. This one was for me was probably average, or maybe a little slightly above average. I love that they let Zelina Vega or Queen Zelina. Sorry, I'm glad they let her eliminate Sasha Banks. I think that kind of helps build her up, even though she didn't win the match, obviously. I just like Zelina because she took a picture with me before the show.
There is nothing wrong with that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that.
No, I really do love Zelina Vega, though. I'm glad WWE's actually doing something with her. I mean, but Ronda Rousey returning was awesome. Just to say that I got to see Ronda Rousey compete in person, like it was pretty obvious that she was going to return, but yeah, just one of those things, like the show, like you said, the show wasn't great, but like the draw of it was being at a Royal Rumble show.
Right.
And so like the big takeaway from this is just being able to see people like Ronda Rousey or Melina, Michelle McCool, Mickie James, etc. Just being able to see them wrestle in person finally.
Yeah, I'm with you there. CJ, what do you think of the Women's Royal Rumble match?
Well, so the Mickie James being in the Rumble with Hardcore Country with the Knockouts title, that was pretty cool. We had kind of talked about it on podcast, but mostly off, about like I really didn't think that they were going to let her do that. So the fact that she did, she came back to the company, she took the paycheck, but she got some little extras in that one night appearance, and that was good for her and good for Impact. I wasn't totally sold on a lot of the other people that they brought in. The Bellas aren't my favorite. Michelle McCool was good. Seeing Lita there was good. I popped really, really big for Melina. I'd actually had to like run out of our seats for a minute, and I missed Sasha Banks' entrance, and I was running back in when I heard Melina's music before I actually saw it, and I screamed at the step, and then I ran and I screamed some more, because much like you are with Zelina Vega, who was nice enough to come meet you. I've met Melina a couple times, and every single time she is the sweetest and one of the most genuine people I've ever met. Wrestler, actress, or normal person, super duper sweet, super duper genuine, and I really love her on all the levels. So I was a big mark for that. And then, she got eliminated immediately, and so it took me a while to get back into the match. I was under no illusions that she was going to win, especially coming out at number 2. But I expected like a minute, a minute in the ring would have been cool.
Would have been nice, yeah.
Would have been nice. And then, Ronda came out, and that wasn't a huge surprise. I'm not the biggest Ronda Rousey fan personally, but I know a lot of people who are. And it was cool to say, she's officially back, and, here you guys go. Everybody be excited, because I'm personally not super excited, but that's cool that you are. And then she won, and then we saw the fire. She answered the question.
Ronda pointed at the WrestleMania sign, all right.
She pointed at the WrestleMania sign, and then Ronda started the fire.
So, funny side note, I actually know some people that were sitting behind the WrestleMania sign. I don't know why they would sell tickets to people like if the WrestleMania sign's just going to be in the way. So, yeah, my condolences to them.
It's called limited viewing, and they're just cheaper. See, I get exactly what you're saying, but like whenever I was at WrestleMania 35, like I could see the ring perfectly, but like all the entrances were blocked off. Like I could see the back of the entryway. I could not even see what the entryway looked like, but I could see the ring and everything that happened in it pretty perfectly. So it was a give and take, but I guess it's one of those you make do with the limited viewing for the experience, but
yeah,
I avoid that where I can. So my take on the women's Royal Rumble, it was far and away better than the men's, but that's not saying much this year. It's also probably the worst women's Rumble they've ever had. Like, and I'm concluding last year where it was in the Thunderdome. Like, this was the worst. You take. I understand. This is another theme of this night. Is I get why this is why certain moments are exciting for people. They're just not exciting for me anymore. I get why everybody was excited for Ronda Rousey. I'm just not excited by it. I get why people were excited for Roman Reigns. I wasn't. But I did like I popped for Hardcore Country. Melina, again, echoing the same sentiments CJ had. Melina's forget MJF. Melina's actually salt of the earth. But Mickie James having the Knockouts Championship, coming out to Hardcore Country, lasting as long as she did, getting to eliminate Michelle McCool, which, I thought that was a nice little callback to their rivalry, and cool that they actually let Mickie do that. I know some folks were still not happy with how long Mickie was in the Rumble, and, again, kind of living in the internet bubble, well, if they actually cared about Mickie James, she'd win the whole damn thing. It's like, no,
Yeah, be realistic.
I mean, even I think WWE, with the fact that Mickie James is not going to wrestle there, for the fact that she has got other obligations, trying to stay realistic and all these different things, and not be warped up in our own fantasy land of what we think wrestling needs to be. If you look at it fairly objectively, Mickie James was used very well in that Rumble match. Like she was in there for 12 minutes. got a few eliminations, got a big pop, got to represent her company, wasn't buried, other than not trying to take up for WWE, but, in respect to the reality of like, well, what do you want her to do? Win it and then like, throw Charlotte's title on the ground and step on with her foot and raise the Impact's title up in the air or something. Other than just like this completely we need an Impact invasion fantasy booking scenario, they did right by Mickey James, and my hat goes off to WWE for doing something that I did not think they were going to do, and that's right by another company. You know,
Oh, for sure.
Hmm.
um, you know, when Ronda came out, it was a shock. It was it was cool to hear that pop, but on the flip side of things, like afterwards, I'm like, well, fuck. Know who's winning
Fair.
this one now?
Well,
So,
that's my pick.
um,
Uh,
so
something else, something else I thought could have made. Now, I guess my main criticism for the women's Royal Rumble matches is they just use too many legends, I think, and it's like I wish they would use some of the NXT females more. Like,
that's fair.
like, like you got Cora Jade down there. She's killing it, by the way. I just love her because I seen her on the Indies as Elena Black. But even Raquel Gonzalez or Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, you got so much talent down there at NXT, and it's like throw them in the Rumble instead of having Summer Rae come in and get thrown out in like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, the legend Summer Rae.
Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
legendary son. Yeah. Again, I mean, and I guess maybe I'm being way too much in the bubble for not liking this, but I was into this match until the finish. Again, um, again, maybe I'm the one in the bubble now where I'm like, oh, why couldn't someone else have won? But like, I was just really excited until, and it wasn't even so much like me trying to be douchey internet hipster going, I don't want to see Ronda Rousey. I don't. It's not even that. It was just kind of one of those like, okay, I know who's gonna win now. Like there's not gonna be a shock winner. There's not gonna be like last year when Bianca won or when, you know, when Asuka won the first one or anything of that nature at all. Like that is not happening. Or the big moment like when Becky won it. Like it's just kind of like, oh, okay, Ronda's gonna win it, and Ronda pointed at the sign, and
He caught on
it caught
fire.
on fire. Real quick, just because I want to share this story. Somebody who I work with at my real job was at the event, and he and his son had chairs underneath the sign, and they
Oh
had to be
no.
they had to be evacuated, and apparently a woman next to them got their hair caught on fire, and then after that happened, she was led away. Where I'm guessing she was given something to not
She was
sue.
heavily comped.
She was heavily comped for that. And speaking of heavily comped, since they were on the floor, they got to keep their chairs, the limited edition Royal Rumble chairs. And my coworker was walking out with his son. He had the two chairs, and somebody walking right behind him had one of the uh, good replica belts of the WWE title, and said, "Hey, I'll trade you this belt for both those chairs." And he did it. Because his son wanted the belt. So before everybody gets all mad in here and kind of, his son wanted the belt. His son would have enjoyed the belt more than the chairs, and him being a dad just wanted to make his kid happy. I did have to tell him like, I said like, I understand you did that for your son, but I said, those chairs are gonna could sell for a lot on eBay, and he's like, I know, but my boy wanted the belt, and respect, respect there, and I guess it was a good mutual transaction for his son and whoever this fan is, who now has two limited edition Royal Rumble 2022 chairs that will probably be sold for around $700 or $800 each in a couple years. So
Yeah.
Might even
Side
have some
note.
burn marks.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. Side note. Limited edition Royal Rumble chairs that were under the WrestleMania flaming sign, like 1 of 10 of them. You're gonna see those on high spots here in a few weeks.
I'm sure. I don't need to talk about high spots. I need to save money.
Same. I haven't been on high spots all this year, so I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing
I'm
pretty good.
I'm holding out if they have something like really big, and I mean like really big, like
Like burnt Royal Rumble chairs.
no, like
No.
I'm talking like Shawn Michaels private signing, and I can send some of my old Shawn Michaels collectibles from when I was a kid in to get signed. I'm talking like Young Bucks private signing, so I can send my Young Bucks figures in to get signed.
Yeah.
I'm talking like that level, like holy shit level. Yeah. um, and even then, I'm still gonna have to like think about it and probably make the wrong decision because I'm gonna do it. But anyway, back to the Royal Rumble. Unfortunately, next match: Becky Lynch versus Dewdrop. I really wanted to like this match and I did not. I'll take the lead on this one. I 3 years ago. Damn, 3 years ago. Hard to believe. I was wearing a Becky Lynch shirt at WrestleMania. I was yelling at the Royal Rumble for Finlay to move his arms to the ring and put her in, yelling in my living room. I was on the Becky Lynch train, you know, like everybody was, but I was on there. I cannot think of a wrestler, and I say this with all due respect, that I have like soured on more in 2 years than Becky Lynch. And it's not her fault completely, but it's not even the character. It's just like I don't enjoy her matches as much. I don't know why, and I feel really bad because I like Becky, but it's just I don't. Why does every match she have to have her little? Oh my god! That didn't win. I'm so confused, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I can't. I didn't win. I'm like that was real. That would be really cool if you only did that once, and then like we felt the urgency of oh my god, Becky may not win this, and she's freaking out as a heel. But like when you do every match, I'm just like, uh-huh. Like that is almost as bad as Ric Flair going to the top rope at this point with Becky. And I really wanted to like this match. I really wanted to have two women that I know can wrestle well come in, have a great match, have something we can be proud of, and have something be like, oh yeah, it was good. But it just didn't happen, and to all the Becky Lynch fans out here, that I was high fiving and hugging at WrestleMania. If you hear this, I'm sorry, but maybe I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. What say the rest of you?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I really didn't see half this match because after the Women's Royal Rumble match, Now I'm gonna say I attempted to go to the concession stand.
They were out of
but
food.
Well, they were out of food eventually, but just the lines were just so disorganized. Like I couldn't even figure out how to even get to the concession stand or where the line even started. So probably about after 10 minutes or so, I gave up and just went back and saw the last moments of Becky Lynch versus Dewdrop. I can't take Piper seriously with that name. I just can't. But about the little bit of the match I seen, just not everybody's gonna have good chemistry,
Yeah.
and I think it was just. I think card placement wise, it was a good match to put on after after the Women's Royal Rumble match, just to, kind of give the fans the fans in attendance there, just kind of a little bit of a cool down.
Right. CJ, what did you think of this match?
It was really hard to pay attention to this match.
Yeah, because we were watching the sign coming down and being extinguished, and firemen and security and police there, and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
and,
because there's like a train wreck happening in front of me, and then the WrestleMania sign is on fire. No, I'm just kidding. So it's very diverted between, yeah, there's a fire going on like directly in front and to my right. And so you're concerned and you want to see what's going on and tweet it. But also like the match just it could have been better. I expected it to be better because these are two capable women. It just wasn't, and I attribute it to chemistry too. They didn't have much of a build to it. They didn't really mesh well in the ring, and it was I wanted to like it. I really couldn't get into it, and I would like, oh no, you got to stop this. You got to stop. You got to watch the match. You got to watch the match. And I'd go in to watch the match and be like, yep, what's going on with the sign?
Yeah, pretty much.
No. You got to watch the match. And it disappointed me because I do like both of them. I'm not a huge like on board with heel Becky, big time Bex, whatever you want to be. It's fine. She's doing her job. She doesn't have heat with me. She's got like, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And for what she's trying to do, that's not succeeding.
The only time Big Time Bex had heat with me was around, and it wasn't even so much because of Becky. It's more like to WWE going, "Wow, you really did Bianca dirty."
Yeah, that was the only time.
What the fuck did you do to Bianca?
Hey, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that payoff match at WrestleMania, though.
That's actually one WrestleMania match I'm kind of looking forward to. Yeah.
I think maybe that's why I don't look at the women's match as in like such a negative light now, the women's Royal Rumble, because I really did going into that wanted Bianca to win it again. I get you don't want to like do the same thing the year later, but there were kids in the crowd dressed up like Bianca. There were grown women in the crowd dressed up like Bianca. She's getting there. She's getting really over. And I personally have always liked her, even when she was in NXT. I like the character. I can get behind that. So having her win again, I like, yeah, let's do this. Let's go after Big Time Bex. And Ronda, it seemed like the story of this Rumble was, hey, these people that have enough credibility that they could probably have WrestleMania main events without winning the Rumble. Yeah, we're going to have them win the Rumble. Cool. All on the same page? Cool. Give me your money.
Yeah. So the next match was Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. And
you sound like Nappa from Dragon Ball Z there, by the way.
I mean,
you're like Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I mean, I can't do Paul justice, so I guess I'll go.
I don't think anybody can.
That was like the one thing that was. It's always cool to see. Like, I mean, when it comes to how I feel about Brock Lesnar, I don't love him as much as some people in this chat and on the internet. Actually, not on the internet, or just in the world. But I also don't hate.
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say I don't like Brock Lesnar as much as you. Is what I'm exactly trying to say.
Like, shots fired.
No, I know other wrestling fans that are like, "Oh, hey, you don't think Brock should be the champion? Well, then you're stupid." Some other people I know, basically, where I'm like, hey, I'd like Lesnar more if he just didn't come in, win the title, and then lose it again, and then win it right back. Like, that's why he's so amazing, and you should love that, because if you're thinking like a booker, you would think that that's the greatest thing that ever happened. And I'm like, no, that's actually kind of dumb. But anyway, but I'm also definitely not falling in line with the rest of wrestling Twitter and be like, Brock Lesnar is the absolute worst thing that ever happened to things. I'm not that guy either. I appreciate what Brock Lesnar is to wrestling, his role in wrestling, and when Brock gives a shit, it's hard to say anybody's better than him. And you know, I'd say giving a shit Brock is as good as anyone else. There is a reason why, and this will be a sacrilege. I enjoyed AJ and Brock more than one, more than a couple of the Omega Okada matches in 2017. Not all of them, but a couple of them. Um, Brock can go. And this has been a dream match I've been thinking of since I saw Bobby Lashley for the first time in 2005. I thought they were actually putting on a nice Haas fight, because as we learned from Goldberg and Lesnar, you don't have to have 40 minutes or 20 minutes or even 15 minutes to have a good match with two big guys. So, like, I thought we were getting that. And then there's the finish. Again, theme of the night. I get they had to get the belt off of Brock somehow. I get it, but like, especially now with the direction that we kind of see where we're going in, it like much like Rollins and Reigns. It's like, so why didn't you just why didn't you just have Brock retain, or why didn't you just let that happen? Bobby will be okay. Just why? You could have done everything the same. Just let Brock retain and not have a convoluted finish and let them go do Haas shit for another couple minutes. And I would have walked out of that match going, that was really fucking cool. I really enjoyed that. That's just me. I'll send this one around the horn.
Well, I mean, kind of like you said, I wish we would have got like a Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar match without all of the Roman Reigns stuff. But for the sake of story purposes, with them going for Reigns and Brock at Mania, I think the match served its purpose, and it did a fair job at fulfilling our fantasy of having Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. I mean, that's been a dream match of mine forever too, and I think a dream match of a lot of people. Side note, well wishes to my guy Bobby Lashley. Hope he gets better.
Right. Hopefully he's good for WrestleMania. But
yeah, I heard 4 months.
Yeah, we will see. We will see.
Yeah. Nonetheless, get well, Bobby.
CJ, what'd you think? This one of your favorites was in this one, so I'm curious what your take is.
He is. He's definitely one of my favorites, and Bobby Lashley is no slouch either. This like same as you two. This was a match that has always kind of been in my head as a man. This would be really, really cool to see. They are both, trained fighters that are really good pro wrestlers, and they are traditional wrestlers. They are fighters. Like they could have really gone out there and completely torn the house down. And so I was a little disappointed in what they did do here. No, you don't have to have a 40-minute classic between these two, but I felt like when all the shenanigans started happening, they had just started to kind of pick it up and turn it on. Like, I really didn't feel like they really got started until it was time for shenanigans. I'm going to hold out hope that because of the injury, maybe it's a blessing for Bobby, so he doesn't have to go to WrestleMania and still lose to Brock. Maybe we can hold that down the road for him and Brock without a big spotlight, so they can really go out and have just a good solid match. No other storylines with Roman or anybody else in the way, because that for WWE, that's always going to take, like, the top billing is, oh, well, we have a storyline for the title, so that matters more, because just between these two, there is so much story to be told, and how they've just really avoided the whole time that both of them have been in WWE. So there's more meat on the bone for these two, and I hope that someday down the road we get that and that they do right by it. I said hope. I'm not expecting it.
Right.
I think it's one of those things where it's well. Now that you said that, I think it's just another way of leaving the story open for Lesnar and Lashley to maybe, I don't know, maybe after this Lesnar Reigns program is over, maybe have Lesnar versus Lashley at SummerSlam or something, and you could have that story of Lashley saying, "Hey, you won the title back at Elimination Chamber, but I was taken out of the match. You didn't beat me. I
Yeah.
wasn't beaten for my title, and then you didn't beat me at Royal Rumble." So Lashley could say,
You've
"Brock
never beat
Lesnar,
me.
you've never beat me." And it's like Dusty Rhodes says, "Keep them waiting, baby."
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Slow build it. I mean, it's an unfortunate timing incident, but and I know Bobby is not the youngest guy on their roster by far, but he's not retiring anytime soon, I hope. Um that we kind of talked about it like off that's kind of a fantasy booking thing, They go for title versus title at WrestleMania. Okay, so, who beats Brock or who beats Roman after that? Like, well, you've got Bobby who never really got beat for his title. Like that, if you want to make a star, that's how you make a star. And then Bobby's already pretty big, but that sets him up. That sets him all the way up.
Right. Yeah. Um, I don't know. I guess it's just more so, especially looking in the context of just this whole pay per view. Maybe if we would have gotten one more satisfying good match out of it, maybe I wouldn't have this kind of feeling about it. But the fact that spoiler alert for the rest of the talking we're going to do, we didn't get that one really good match. Maybe that's why I'm a little more salty about it. Um, we couldn't have got that good match from just I don't know, I guess that's just maybe why I'm a little bit more angry. Because even comparing this to the last 10 years ago when the Rebel was here, 2012, like even though it wasn't the world's best Royal Rumble that year, like it was a passable Rumble. And then you had like a really good triple threat cage match that was, I mean, again, not no wrestling classic, but it was good. And then you got a damn fine Punk and uh, Ziggler match. So it's just one of those. I wish we could have gotten an equivalency of one of those two matches, like we did this year with the two title matches. But alas, we did not. So it is what it is. Next match is the final uh, non-Royal Rumble match. It is a mixed tag team match. It is The Miz, who Caleb just met earlier that day, and his wife Maurice versus Edge and his wife Beth Phoenix. CJ, what did you think of this match?
I really wanted to like this match more. I'm a big fan of The Miz. I like Edge. I loved Beth Phoenix during her whole original run. I couldn't really get into it. I felt like there was a lot of like just start stops in the match and it got like a little clunky. I think there were some wardrobe malfunctions. I have no interest in watching this back on the Peacock.
Oh
So I don't know
no.
for sure. We had discussed it in the beginning, watching it back to see, if we missed something. Like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm okay not watching any of it. I'm okay never seeing this show ever again.
but based on some cheers that I heard from people who could see directly, I think that there were a couple of wardrobe malfunctions from Maurice, which if you can wrestle in that, more power to you, girlfriend. But Jiminy Cricket. Yeah, it was just they were all good. It was missing for me.
What do you think, Caleb?
Well, interesting fun fact of the day. This is actually my first time seeing Edge wrestle in person. Believe it
Same.
or not, like,
Same.
yeah, real for real.
Yeah, I never got to see it. I was getting ready to when I was gonna give my critique. I was gonna my positive. My positive of this whole match is I got to see Edge. I'd never seen
Well,
Edge before.
man.
I got to see Edge at least once. I
Well,
never.
that was about the only thing I really cared about in the match. I have not been involved in the Miz Edge storyline that they were doing. I'm glad it's in the past. I mean, I love the Miz, I love Edge, but I mean, I don't know. It just the storyline that they were going for just didn't click with me.
Yeah, that sort of thing is just not. I don't get into the whole mixed tag matches with there's a market for this. Obviously the people around us were really into this match, and there were other couples behind us, and they were just like, oh my god, and they were really into it, and that's fine. This to me was like another embodiment of this product isn't for me. Like this product, like I'm again not trying to be a hipster, but I'm just kind of like they're super into this, and I'm like, okay, and I'm just kind of here thinking like, I mean, have you seen the rest of wrestling? But to each their own. I'm not bashing anyone's taste, but that's just kind of my thoughts. Just like what are you skiing out of this that I'm not seeing? Like, um, it was cool to see Edge. I am happy that I got to see an Edge match. I never got to see Flair wrestle. I never got to see Shawn Michaels wrestle. I never got to see so many wrestlers that I really enjoyed have a match before they called it a career. You know, and I did actually get to see an Edge match, which is cool. And 11 years ago, I never thought I'd get to do that. So, um, it's cool. I'm glad I got that. Other than that, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So now we get to the main event,
Oh boy.
the men's Royal Rumble match.
Oh,
I'm just gonna put it out here right now. Other than maybe like the very early Royal Rumble matches, like the pre like other like pre 92, and I'll give 90 like a small dose of credit because it set up Hogan and Warrior, and that was at the time a big deal. So like I can at least say like, hey, they were doing something there. Like this is the worst Royal Rumble. Um, yeah, that is the worst. This is the worst Royal Rumble match ever, ever. This sucked. This was not good.
and you
Um,
know what? You know what's sad? It started off so promising. Like we
mm-hmm.
had
Yeah.
AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura as the first two entrants. Like that's the best first two in my opinion since CM Punk and Daniel Bryan back in what was it, 2010 or
11.
2011?
Yeah,
11, that's right.
yeah. It's not like. And then once AJ got eliminated, I was just kind of like, "Fuck this!" Like,
Yeah,
and CJ goes
yeah,
like,
but by Madcap Moss of all people, like
when
Yeah.
AJ Styles' feet hit the floor, I just went, "Fuck this! This is stupid. I hate this." I became that guy. I became what I don't like on the internet. I folded out my arms and went, "This sucks. I don't like this anymore." um,
I can confirm. Although he didn't immediately fold his arms, he threw them up. He flipped everything off and started saying "fuck" a lot,
there's only
and
one.
then he crossed his arms.
There was only one other time that I got happy, and that was, and I want to say this. I'm St. Louis. I may not live in the city, but I claim St. Louis. From this area. But Randy Orton, I do not claim. and everybody around cheered and wanted Randy Orton to win. And when he got eliminated, I fucking did every fucking obnoxious wrestling pose I could think of. I started yesing. I started doing the Hulk Hogan hand to the ear, to the booze. I was doing the drink it in man. I was like, yeah, fuck Randy Orton. Fuck Randy Orton.
I pretend like I don't know him when he does that, but I couldn't even take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something else that really surprised me is I didn't realize Sheamus was like that over in St. Louis. Like I did not expect the pop for Sheamus.
Sheamus is a big deal here, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, he was the one that won it the last time we had a Rumble 10 years ago. He won that Rumble.
That's
and
right.
It was a really big deal when he won there. I wasn't a big Sheamus fan then, but I'm a better Sheamus fan now, I guess. Still not like super pop for him, but
it's just one of those things that came to a surprise to me. Anyway.
In terms of like who actually was in that Rumble, Sheamus was a bigger, more over name that they used there. Like, oh my, I didn't realize until they did like all the Rumble entrances how many people's music they kind of changed and gave this very generic, non-lyrical, like rock-ish pop music. And that they don't have videos anymore. They're just like, here's a color that's flashy and their name with this generic music. Like, nobody has like a real theme anymore. And it's just, like, I don't know who's coming. I don't know. What number are we on? Are we almost done?
Yeah. One of the most cringeworthy things in this match was when Madcap Moss made his entrance to, like you said, just generic music. And there was like usually you have like at least a few people pop. Like you hear like a small cheer or a small boo, but there was like absolutely no reaction from Madcap Moss whatsoever.
And he then eliminates AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know
what?
That. But you know what? Hey, you're mad. He got heat. It's all good.
Oh yeah.
Heat.
Get that heel heat, brother, dig it.
Yeah.
Get that good Baron Corbin heat on him.
Good Baron Corbin.
Hey, don't compare Madcap to Baron Corbin.
I mean, they put him with them, so
at least Baron Corbin sometimes is a credible threat. Sometimes. No, I mean, not the happy Corbin he's doing right now, but just in the past.
I mean, he's a really credible threat to your ratings.
Okay, you got me there.
So Shane McMahon comes out like once AJ's gone, like at this point, like part of me says about this whole Royal Rumble is you hear so many people on the internet go, hey, why do they have to bring back so many legends? Couldn't they have used such and such that was on the roster? Well, they used the whole roster, and we didn't get like the nostalgia, the nostalgia pop for a legend. And I wonder if that's just Vince going, see? This is why we use the fucking legend, you dumbasses. Because, like, at this point, like, it just kept being all these nobodies that I don't care. Like, and I say this with all due respect, but just nobody's is too rough. But, like, I just don't care about WWE this much. Like, this was, like, the sinking feeling that, like, I don't care. Like, this was the realization, like, I really do, my last fuck has been given about the WWE. Like, I don't care anymore. And I'm like, here, like, okay, let's see that surprise. Like, I know we talked at Pasta House that we thought we saw somebody else through from Impact that was walking through the door, and we're like, oh, hey, at least I can, do his little thing. Oh, okay, he's not here. Give me
no moves.
No moves. I couldn't do moves. I was hoping for, like there was some teases about like Cody Rhodes showing up, and I'm like, Cody Rhodes? Do we at least get that instead? No? Okay. Fucking give me Jim Duggan. Give me fucking Jim Duggan. Give me just whoever the fuck. Anyone. Someone that
Give us the give us the fucking Brooklyn Brawler. Like, we don't care.
yes,
Just something, please.
yeah,
I don't
something
even think you needed to use like your legend stuff. Like you have active roster wrestlers that
that
would have gotten
too.
a bigger pop.
No
Like
Cesaro, no Finn Balor.
Finn
Why?
Balor would have. I understand. I am self aware that I am a Finn Balor mark, hardcore. I understand. I am aware. I acknowledge him only. Um, However, he would have gotten such a big pop in St. Louis. I don't think he's ever been like in a match in St. Louis, but I think he would have gotten a big pop, a much bigger pop than most of the guys that were in there. And it's like, I don't understand. Cesaro would have been a solid choice in that
Would
match.
have been a lot
You
better
could
to
have,
have him than Rick Boggs or
You mean Rick
Ridge
Boogs?
Holland or whatever.
Oh,
All
Ridge
these.
Hall. Okay. I thought you were talking about Rick
I thought
Boogs.
about Rick Boogs or
yeah.
Boggs, whatever the fuck his name is. I don't fucking care. Or even Shane McMahon. Fuck that
I'm
guy.
I'm even more over for Rick Boogs than I am some of the others. Like maybe it's because he looks like Freddie Mercury now, but like, I care a little bit more, but not a lot. I would have cared a lot if you put Walter in there, and I'm not calling him Gunther. Sorry, you can put Gunther on the screen. I'm a chant Walter. It's cool though. Put him in the match.
Yeah. And then, as if this wasn't just like shit enough, then Brock Lesnar's music hits, and again I have my what? Fuck this. Like, it's not even because it's not it's not like it's a bad choice. I don't give a fuck about Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. I didn't care about this match in 2018. 4 years have gone by. My caring has not changed. I don't care that it's supposed to be Brock is a fucking babyface now and Roman is the heel. I'm gonna quote New Jack. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't. I just
Somebody
don't.
clip that, please. Somebody clip that, please.
It's just this match was the embodiment of why I don't care. Why I don't care. Why everybody else cares and everybody tells me that this is why it's great and why I should care and why I'm stupid for liking everything else. And you know what? They can laugh. They have all their points of did you listen to people around you? You're just a dumb internet hipster. You're just have your head up AEW's ass. You have your head up New Japan's ass. But like I tried. I went into this whole show, especially the Royal Rumble match. The thing that even at my most cynical about the WWE, I can still go, well, this is fun. Trying to enjoy it, and it just like cemented like, this is why you don't like this fucking promotion. This is why you don't enjoy the product anymore. This is not for you. You have outgrown things. There's a lot of things you used to love. You used to like SpaghettiOs. You you used to like Barney, and you grew out of it. WWE is the wrestling equivalent of SpaghettiOs and Barney. Ugh. Let's say the rest of you.
Like I said, just the big draw was to be a part of the Royal Rumble, like to be in attendance to say that I got to go to a Royal Rumble. The show itself, mediocre. That's pretty much all I have to say.
I got to go 10 years ago. The last time the Rumble was in St. Louis, 2012. That experience was, I felt like a true Rumble experience. I had a lot more fun. I enjoyed what was being presented to me as the product. It felt exciting. I felt sitting in the crowd about the same way this time as I do sitting in my living room watching their premium live event on Peacock. Except it was harder for me to get to the bathroom and they ran out of food. So So downgrade.
If you could even get through the
If you
line.
could get to the food and the drinks,
Yeah.
like it. Had I not really truly felt like I had experienced a Royal Rumble before, I'd probably say never again. And I think that there's probably a lot of people that were in that building that next time WWE is close, they'll be like, nope, not worth that. That sucks.
Maybe,
that was one of their.
Or they'd be going, fuck yeah, what a fun experience. You know, I mean, we
Like
had.
they don't. I just want to grab them. Like, you don't know. You don't know. It was.
Yeah,
It
we
was.
say
It
that,
was
but
better.
I know a whole group of people that'll be like, and this is why WWE is great, the fact that they don't think this way, and this is why AEW and New Japan and the GCW and all your stupid little indies are just not that good.
Well, and that's a great theory to have to be a loyalist. But if you want to fill 40,000 seats again, you probably need to make more than just 10 people really, really happy. You don't have 40,000 diehard WWE fans willing to travel to wherever your Rumble is to put butts in seats. So you probably need to reevaluate. Will they? Probably not. They're going to go with what they know because it doesn't matter how many tickets they sell. They made more money this past show at Elimination Chamber than every WrestleMania gate combined. One show, more than every WrestleMania. So it doesn't matter. My opinion on this show doesn't matter. What they do for us on these shows doesn't matter. I understand. Once again, I'm self-aware. But if they come back again in another 5 or 10 years, I'm going to seriously reconsider like how quickly I hit the buy button.
Oh yeah, I mean you never say never. I guess part of the. I've said this about WWE on the live stream several times. They've won. You know, this was back when they had their own network. I'm like, they've won. They own a lot. Like, they own at least 75% of the wrestling I love. They own it. You know, so they've won. They're gonna get my money somehow. Somehow they're gonna get it. Whether or not it's going to a live event, I can say beyond a shadow of a doubt, I'm never going to Raw, or I'm never going to SmackDown, or I'm probably not going to go to one of their B-level pay-per-views ever again if it's in St. Louis. If they bring the Royal Rumble back to St. Louis, I'll probably go. Maybe here we go again. Maybe this time I'll be better. You know, if they bring WrestleMania to St. Louis, I'll be there. I'll probably be more excited about literally everything else that comes along with WrestleMania weekend than WrestleMania itself. But it's like, you know, I've gone to Joey Janela's Spring Break and Josh Barnett's Bloodsport and the High Spots Super Show, and I've gone to WrestleCon and I've gone to Ring of Honor, knock on wood, and it'll be like last time I went to WrestleMania. Hey, I guess I'll go to WrestleMania now. I guess there's a WrestleMania to go to. Only to be fair, other than it being 9 hours long, I actually did enjoy WrestleMania. But WWE, it's McDonald's. You can say it's the nastiest food you'll ever eat, but you're gonna go through that drive-through again. It may be for an egg McMuffin. It may be for a quick and go. Dollar menu sandwich. It could be because you have a soft spot for the McRib. McDonald's always wins in the end. McDonald's will never not be there. The best you can do is just accept that McDonald's will be there and support non-McDonald's when you have the chance to make sure that there's always something other than McDonald's. So, if any other St. Louis wrestling fans did not enjoy this show, when AEW comes to town, buy a ticket. When GCW comes to town, buy a ticket. Warrior Wrestling is coming to town. Buy a ticket.
Super excited for that, by the way.
Yep.
Yep. You always have local promotions going on in the city.
Yep.
That you should go buy a ticket for.
Go buy a ticket to Glory Pro. Go buy a ticket to St. Louis Anarchy. Go buy a ticket to WrestleMax. If you don't mind driving, buy a ticket to Cape Championship Wrestling. Buy a ticket to Stride. Buy a ticket to Anafight Underground. Just go buy wrestling tickets. There's more out there. So support it if you felt upset with this card, or even if you like the card and you want to see more wrestling, support the other ones that come. Don't just go WWE big time. I only buy big time. Don't do that.
You
Don't do
see,
that.
that's me. Like I'm like the complete opposite of that. I barely attend WWE or AEW shows. Like I've probably been to like two AEW shows in my entire life, if you count All In as an AEW show, which I personally do
Prologue,
because
but yeah.
just the Chicago ritual. But yeah, and like this is probably the second WWE pay per view I've ever been to, with the first one being Battleground when it was in St. Louis. But yeah, I really enjoy the independent wrestling atmosphere way more because like there's a lot more options for like wrestling, like we're in my area. If you like the hardcore wrestling, you got Anified Underground. If you like more of the wrestling, you got Cape Championship Wrestling. You even got Stride Pro Wrestling. There's a lot of options out there that people don't realize,
Mm-hmm.
and you just support like the Athletic Geek said. I almost called you by your shoot name.
It's been broken on this
Yeah.
channel enough. I will just say that much.
Okay,
But
okay. Well, yeah. Go out and support the smaller shows. I mean, the only reason I attended this show was because it was the Royal Rumble, and that's like one of my favorite shows of all time. Not it's sad that this one was disappointing like it was, but like I said, I can say I got to go at Royal Rumble now. I can cross that off my bucket list.
yeah,
But yeah, but my heart, like when it comes to wrestling, my heart is on the Indies, definitely. Like
yeah,
I'll be honest with you, and I've said this time and time again on my podcast. I don't watch the regular product anymore on TV. From like I watch highlights week to week, and it's like, let's say Brian Danielson and Suzuki had a match on Rampage. It was really good. I'll go back and watch it, but it's like I do watch the pay per views whenever they come up, or the premium live events, whatever you want to call them. And I do enjoy the product a little more that way, but it's just like with all the wrestling that I go to these days, I don't necessarily see myself sitting down at home and watching Monday Night Raw every week or Friday Night SmackDown every
right now,
week.
there's something, don't want to date it too terribly badly, but there's a rumor going on right now that has me kind of taking a little, peek out of the corner of my eye on Raw, but then like when it doesn't happen, I'm just like, oh, okay, and then I watch bullshit on YouTube over Raw. Um, but I agree, like. You call it mediocre. I feel like you're being way too nice. I'm gonna just go ahead and call it bad. Not like I've been to worse wrestling shows, so I'm not going to say it's like the worst wrestling show I've ever been to, but is it the
Oh, for
worst?
sure.
Is it the worst Royal Rumble I think I've ever seen in my lifetime at home or in the arena? Yeah, probably. Um, is it the worst major show I've ever been to? Again, yeah, probably. I think this was I think I enjoyed Elimination Chamber 2010 more than this. Um, I think I enjoyed the electrified cage match more than this at Lockdown. Yeah, just this was bad. Trying to put some positive spin on things. I got to see a Shield entrance, and I got to see Edge wrestle. So that's cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
CJ.
Yeah, this was something that happened. It's over and done with, so we don't have to. Not gonna go back and watch that and relive that. Um, I'll just go back and watch 2012.
Yep, same.
I'll go back and watch every other Royal Rumble, which is something that I've done in the past. Which is just that's a sad commentary. From a personal side, is that there have been years where I've been just so excited for what WWE product has been. And I mean, this is not in very recent memory, but in years gone by, it was so much like, man, this is going to be so great. I'm going to watch the catalog of old Royal Rumbles and old WrestleManias, or the Money in the Banks, and like just watching the old matches, like, this is going to be, see how good this used to be, this is going to be great like this again. And it's great. And I didn't even have the heart to do that, because I do remember terrible ones in recent memory. And like, I'll watch a couple. I'm not watching them all. I don't have the heart for it. I'd rather go on and watch, stuff that we saw live from independent shows, or to AEW or Impact or NWA. Like, I just, my interests have gone elsewhere from their product, and that's really sad to hear from someone who was a diehard on the WWF side as a kid.
Yeah.
Just, it is what it is.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I was really hoping I'd at least be able to at least go like, I don't really care for the product, but damn, did they give me a good time? This 10 years ago, I mean, granted, there was no AEW or All In or anything like that happening, but WWE, like, I didn't mind it. It had some of my favorite wrestlers of all time in it, and 10 years ago, going to that Royal Rumble live, even with it being not a bad Royal Rumble, but not like an all-time legendary one, it was just what I needed for where I was at the time. It like that was, until All In happened, it was the most fun I'd ever had at a wrestling show ever, and it stayed that way for a long time. This one is one where it's just like, I'm ranking it down there with some really bad indie events that I've seen, and that's a shame. But at the end of the day, one person's, this is one of the worst things I've ever seen, is another person's the best. So if you were there and you liked it and you enjoyed it, cool. I'm glad you
All
enjoyed
power
yourself.
to you.
Yep. That is the end of this episode. I want to thank everyone for listening to our reliving of the Royal Rumble. If you enjoyed, please give us a like, share, subscribe for more content. Follow me on my social media pages, facebook.com/athleticgeek89, Twitter athletic_geek89, Instagram athleticgeek89. CJ, you have social media?
Yeah, I got Socialpedia. I got Twitter at CJTmall0.
And Caleb's got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I've actually got my own domain now, foursidesiv.com. You can find all of our links there for our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all of our podcasting platforms. I do a lot of interviews with independent wrestlers, so be sure to check that out. We got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram for our social medias. We got TeePublic for merchandise. When is this going to be released?
This is going up tomorrow.
23rd.
Tomorrow.
Okay, so yeah, also come out to Anify Underground, No Friends in the Industry on February 24th. Cape Championship Wrestling's March Malice, I believe, is going to be Saturday, March 26th. And like I said, my big message today is just check out some of the smaller shows. Like, if you're unhappy with how the Royal Rumble was and you just haven't got a chance to get out there and see what else there is, like, there's so much wrestling in 2022. Just get out there and see what there is. Go out there and see what there is, man.
It'll cost you less than this show, I promise you that.
Yeah, you can get you a front row ticket for like 10, 20, even $30, and you're probably going to get more of a you're going to get a better experience. You're going to get to interact with the wrestlers, and it'll just change your entire perspective on wrestling.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you all for having a listen. We'll see you next time.